right, who wants to hear about high-octane adventures and the latest and greatest on the motor scene? It's time to rev it up with John and Jess on Joy 1340.
Welcome back to Rev It Up with John and Jess, coming at you on 1340 AM and 98.7 FM.
Somebody put a quarter in you today. Wow,
Is that better? You like that a little bit more?
We were having a little discussion on how to be more animated and a little more exciting because somebody says I'm monotone. Clearly,
you are
Jess
monotone. Nobody has ever in my history told me to be more animated except for you just now.
You know, I kind of just bring it when I show up. So why do I got to be so monotone? What do you call it? Monotone? Monodated? What is it?
Yes.
Yeah, I know it's pretty bad when
you
somebody
are monotone, yeah.
Monotone. So, yeah, well, I guess somebody told me the other day I sounded like my old history teacher, like I'm just like rattling things off.
It's really not a compliment.
Why?
Why don't you try to be more animated? Go.
Wait a minute, okay. All right, everybody, today we're going to talk about Merrill Ice Drags, and it's Sunday on Lake Alexander, Merrill, Wisconsin, every Saturday starting at noon, 1:20 through 3-4, weather permitting.
Where's that guy?
Yeah, I want you to
bring that guy on.
I can do it. I can do whatever I want.
That's true, you can.
What are we talking about today now that we're a little more animated
this
and doing
is great.
some stuff?
I like this
like
guy.
It?
I do.
Right? What if I was tired the last couple of weeks because I'm running sun up to sundown? Does it matter? People don't care about that
For
other
2
part of life
years?
stuff. For 2 years? That's a lot of stress. Now we'll go back to the monotone thing. We're going to talk about their stressful, long relationships. That
the holidays are over. Let's start the year off right.
It's a new year. Yep. Is cuffing season still going on, or are we not talking about that today?
I think we said cuffing season goes through Valentine's Day.
Through Valentine's Day.
Still on.
All right. Valentine's Day is coming. Oh, yeah. Well, that's like another month. We ain't going to talk about it yet, do we?
Why would we even talk about it?
No, let's talk about motorized sports and doing stuff. So
yeah.
I want to talk about a very cool thing that's the Merrill Ice Drags. And the thing that's awesome is I was watching an episode of Roadkill the other day with Finnegan and Freiberger, and they actually did an episode of Merrill Ice Drags on Roadkill where they drove El Camino,
El Caminos are badass.
El Caminos are badass. They drove like a 76, so they took a
Goodyear
non-really badass car, but made it really cool and went all the way up to the Merrill Ice Drags with the Merrill Ice Draggers, which a lot of people still don't even know around the Milwaukee area and stuff, but nobody stops doing anything around Wisconsin for winter sports. It's almost as big as summer sports.
Yeah, there's a big list that we'll talk about later, but it's everywhere. And I, as a layperson, don't really hear about this. Like, I just heard about the ice drags and the Snodeo and stuff when I'm with you. You know, beyond that, I've never heard of it.
So you're saying your life has gotten better because we weren't getting all that, but anyways, the eye roll. Everybody can see the eye roll, but let's talk about it. I mean, because there's so many great things to do in Wisconsin in winter that obviously everybody goes snowmobiling. That's one of the big things. There's snowmobile drags, there's snow cross, all that stuff. But we're still talking about people that can actually bring their cars and trucks and race cars that they do in summer. You can still go to other events. Like there's autocross in the snow on the lakes. Mm-hmm. I know I call him Hot Rod Robbie. Robert Davis, he actually goes to, I think they're the Polar Ice Devils. They do a lot of, he goes racing with his Model A's all over the place, even in Minnesota and Wisconsin here, which we'll talk about a little bit later on about the Manawa Snodeo that's coming up. But we'll go back to the Merrill Ice Drags. So these guys, they drag race on the ice.
Yes, and it's an oval track, correct?
No, this is drag race and just line up straight.
Oh, yeah, I'm thinking of something else. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
That's the other one down there. I threw a lot at you here. Sorry about that.
Got to keep it all straight. There's
that's
so many.
Manawa with all that stuff. So the first one is the Merrill Ice Draggers, and they've been around. Correct me if I'm wrong. We'll look it up here in a second. But I think they've been around, I believe, since the 50s.
Yes.
And I'm going to actually check that out to see what time how long when they started out.
So I learned that they run every Saturday starting at noon on January 28th through March 4th, weather permitting.
Yes.
Their first one on the 28th starts out as a test and tune. I don't know if you can tell us a little bit more what happens in a test and tune.
So, all right, we'll get to the test and tune, but I just looked this up because I know I looked it before, but obviously I got a lot in my big fat head and I don't remember this all the time. The Merrill Ice Drags were actually founded in 1965, so local men and women could continue to have automotive-type drag racing fun during the winter months. In 1970, the sport became more competitive and well known as fastest eighth mile on ice. So obviously you can look it up about the Merrill Ice Drags.
And the record is pretty impressive for that. We'll talk about that when we have them on next week.
Yes, I'll just give you a little teaser on that. Well, next week is Manawa Snodeo, right?
And
the Merrill. Merrill Ice Drags.
Yep.
Yeah, so they're both coming in together, which is going to be, I'm really excited about it because I've watched this for a long time. And went up and did it. I mean, I've only competed in it twice already. But basically, what they do is they take actual.
Did you win?
Huh? What's
Did
that?
you win?
No, I got my
Whooped.
I got my butt whooped by the more experienced ice draggers.
Sure.
I brought a car up with way too much power, and I just thought that's what it's all about. And the tires, it's all about the tires and the grip, the grip shot and stuff. So they actually take like a sheet metal screw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, naily tires, right? Is that what they call them?
Yep, that's what we were looking at in the things. So I was not prepped for it.
Okay.
Obviously, can you go figure that I wasn't
Right,
ready
that
for it?
you
I mean, go
weren't
figure.
prepped
Yeah.
for something?
Yeah, I was actually in the I guess a bar, I guess we'll call it that, a little bit late before.
Back in the day.
Yeah, I was learning so much about it that night, so
Sure.
that was back in the day of Captain and Coke days. But so I did not have my tires prepped, and I just only put a couple sheet metal screws in these things, where these other people, I looked at their tires, I'm like, I'm not prepared at all. And I was looking, so I just basically spun and kind of went half track. He was already done by the time I even got down the track.
Like, I know we have a lot to cover, so I don't want to stick too long on it, but like, is there a certain depth that you should put them in for?
Well, and we'll get more educated on this next week with these guys, because I know a little bit about it, because then we started going up to Bear Lake and Merrill and stuff like that for the Snodeo and really getting into it. And I talked to a lot of the ice draggers, and it's amazing. Like, they cover every single cleat. There's like 300 to 400 screws per tire.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, and here John bought a box of 100 and split them up between two tires. So, I'm like, I got
That's
this.
what I probably would have.
Well, I did. And I'm like, I did it for like an hour. I'm like, this sucks. I'm like, I don't want to do this. I'm going to go in the cars, And then these guys showed up, and I was like, okay. So a little fun fact, though. The fastest 8th mile drag racing in the world is 146.6 mile an hour and 5.43 ET and 660 feet. That's pretty impressive on ice. So it's a great thing. And again, we want to let people know here on Rev It Up that there's so many more things to do besides just our local shows that we go to.
Right.
There's so many great events. And I think one of our biggest things that we always try to promote is the little guy shows, or things that people don't even know about. Because we brought up this snow stuff the other day, and nobody even knew about it.
No.
And a lot of my drag race friends are like, where is it? I've never even heard about it. I'm like, it's in here, Wisconsin. So one thing, again, we'll discuss next week, Merrill Ice Drags on Lake Alexander, Merrill, Wisconsin, every Saturday starting at noon. And that goes through January 28th through 3/4 through March. January, February. Yeah, March. I was right.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out the
Okay,
number
let's say it again.
calendar.
January 28th to Saturday, March 4th.
Yes, weather permitting. And obviously, weather permitting is if they have enough, weather permits to get the ice has got to be
Ice
thick
has
enough.
to be thick enough, yeah.
Yeah, and they do this stuff. But it's great. I mean, you can go out and they hand out trophies every Saturday. I know that.
Is there food up there?
I would think there'd be some
I
great
think there's a
cheeseburgers
food
and
truck
stuff.
or something up there.
There should
I
be
think
food
I saw
trucks,
that.
yeah. Everybody's, come on, it's Wisconsin.
We'll find
gotta
out.
do it.
Right.
So that is that one. So we'll check out Merrill Ice Drags. That's one of the biggest things. And do you have the, excuse me, we have links and everything. We can follow these things. And I know every week we've been putting everything up, the link to find these events and everything on our pages,
We can
right?
put it up. Yep.
Okay, great. All right, and then the next one. What's the next one you got coming
The
up?
Manawa Snodeo Rodeo.
Snodeo Rodeo?
Snowmobile races. It's a tongue twister. At the Bear Lake Resort in Manawa, Wisconsin. That's coming up on February 18th and 19th.
Yes.
Again, weather permitting.
Yes, and I've I don't know if you've never been to Bear Lake yet, have you? Mm-mm. I love that place. The kids, we even go up there. I know our good buddy Bruce Wendorf, he goes up there in the summer for like the Vintage Camper Fest they have up there. Mm-hmm. And I've been up there a number of times with the kids because they got a lot of great events, and they got a lot. The resort is amazing up there. So go boating. But obviously in winter, Manawa Snodeo comes up, and it's not just snowmobile races. I know it's advertising. People just think snow. They just think snowmobiles. Mm-hmm. So when you go up there and you look on their website, it's just a lot of fun to watch the whole thing because they actually have lawnmower races, circle track races, and that is just great. And it's just a good old-fashioned Wisconsin time, Some guys are having a couple beers and they make a couple bets, and the flag goes down, and they're running these lawnmowers in a circle track. It's just great. Oh, it's a lot of fun. And then, of course, they've got the circle track out there for the Model A's that go out there. Some of the vintage cars out there, ice racing. That's again I don't know. I think this one kind of coincides with the I think the Minnesota one, the Ice Devils one out there, but I'll have to check, and we'll get that listed out next week also. But basically what they've got that, I know I was up there a couple years back, and they had a land speed record try to go off on there. And I watched it. Somebody, again, who tried to set the world record up there.
Oh, okay.
On world record on ice. Mm-hmm. And he was going to go, I don't have that information in front of me, but I know I was up there. And I was up there talking with Greg Stelzy from Greg's Speed Shop. We pack that all the time. He's a big sponsor of the Manawa Snodeo. Great guy. And we got coming in. Who's coming in next week to talk about this?
Cindy and Dave.
Cindy and Dave, yeah. I think Dave actually works with Greg over at the Speed Shop. But since Greg's right there in Wapaka, he is a great sponsor this last couple of years. Greg, Kim and his wife are great. And they cover this thing, and they actually trying to set the world record up there. And what it was is the guy actually, the skis were in the front, obviously, to steer. And he hit I don't know if it was an ice chip. I'm not really sure what it was. We'll look it up and find out what happened, but he crashed up there.
Okay.
At like 200-something miles an hour. I was going to leave, and all of a sudden I heard this thing go off like a sonic boom. We were lost around a lake, and all of a sudden it just hit the thing, and it all fell over, and every kid ran over. He was okay.
That's good.
It was a really good thing. But it was, so there's a lot. And, of course, there's food trucks up there.
Okay.
They're on the lake, and they're in the resort.
Okay.
So that one's a little bit different. So instead of just being the Merrill Ice Drags in the middle of a lake where there's nothing there, that one you have the whole Bear Lake Resort. And you can go in there, and, of course, and I think they got some bands and stuff on there. We'll go with some more information on next week, yeah. And I know the one thing they like there, too, they have the vintage snowmobile show. Yep. We were looking at that. So it is a lot about snowmobiles for sure.
And that one is the oval track, you said?
They've got, that's a combination. So I think there's 2 or 3 oval tracks.
Okay.
Because I know there's a track when I was up there that actually had the oval track for the lawnmowers. So there's one for that. Then I think they put like kids go-karts in there. I'm not sure what they all had.
I think there was like a map, like a drawn map, and they had like the oval track, and then they had stuff off to the side. Yeah, they had that was a great thing that they had for that. And so they've got that, and then the big oval track, they got like a figure 8 thing that they do with the cars, 4-wheelers. And then, of course, I think they do radar runs with the snowmobiles, which, of course, is like a drag race. Okay. And then I know Sunday, the Merrill Ice Draggers host the drag racing up there, right? That's what we talked about, about going up there for that. So, and they've got car shows and everything, or not a car show, the shows for the snowmobiles and stuff like that. So, and I believe every year that I've been up there, I don't know if she's going to be up there this year, and again, we'll inform everybody on that also. But I believe Joe Coddington of the Boyd Coddington phase, she always comes up, and I always see her walking around the ice up there from California. She's part of the hot rod world. Okay. So, great lady. You know, she always does the Iola car show too. So yeah. Yeah. So that we will definitely cover more on the Manawa Snodeo and be part of that. And you know, if anybody's listening to this one today, check out your dates on that one because that one actually comes up, and that's February 18th or 19th, and you got to get some hotel rooms booked and everything for that up there too. Yeah, I bet you people might be kind of hard pressed at this point. Yeah, I don't think that's that far from Wapaka or any of the big areas up there, but you can go up there. So I think it's only from Milwaukee. It's about 2 hours. I think it is. Not bad. So yeah. All right, and then you got another big one coming up. What's that? That same weekend, February 18th and 19th, Mama Tried Motorcycle Show is at the Eagles Ballroom in Milwaukee. Big motorcycle show, right? That's a big one. That's we were talking about this last night at the at my shop. I actually had John and Jay Levine over, the Levine brothers. I haven't seen them in a while. Yeah, they're they've been working on bikes again. Okay. So we were talking about Mama Tried, and that's a great event that these guys have brought to Milwaukee. It's been over for a while now. And it's the Eagles Ballroom gets filled up with all the bikes, all the custom bikes. I think years ago, this used to be over on St. Paul Avenue. I remember going down to it there and then moved over to Eagles Ballroom now. But bikes from all over the world come in, and it gets filled up. They actually have the bookings. I was listening to this last night because the guys were trying to get their bike in last night. And, of course, you know, just like any other car guy or me, you know, that everybody compares to, last minute, right? Right. But I guess they had to have the registration a year before. A year? Yeah, because that's how booked up it is. It's certain few, and it's from what I got, and if anybody our listeners out there, correct me if I'm wrong, but I talked to our good buddy Scotty K about this. But I think the Mama Tried show part is an invite only. That would make sense. Yeah, because they're just such great bikes. I mean, they're just amazing stuff. We talked with Avery Rick, and he's got from High Roller Cycles up in Sheboygan. He's got some stuff going up there. Of course, years before, Dave Cook has been in it before. He's got a bike in there, which will probably be down there. But a lot of the great vintage shoppers and stuff are down there. I mean, a lot of really, really good stuff down there. And I think Lucky Sevens has got some stuff in there from PJs and stuff like that. So a lot of really good stuff. And it's good to see because the other great thing I like to see is that a lot of bikes from around the world come from Japan and everything around here because Japan just loves our American culture of all that stuff. So it's really neat to see. That's a great show. Yeah. It's a really I've not show. Been. I'd like to check it out. That is a really great great culture that it's surprised to see it's still alive and kicking that much. And now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe Flat Out Friday then is on the 17th at the Fiserv Forum. That's a big one there. That's a big one for the Flat Out Friday.
And that is one that I've actually helped Scotty Case support him for years, as we all know. He actually rides the boonie bikes in there all the time, which Scotty,
they're on the list.
Over 50 this year, and still riding boonie bikes and building with the Build Moto program, and all these guys are doing it. And a lot of great guys are part of that too. Chuck from Competition Cycle, he does the, of course, he does the Mama Tried show. And then I believe Chuck, he was still racing a couple years back. But that show is so much fun. The Flat Out Friday, they get of course, it's the Flat Out Friday is the big circle track that they do there. And years ago, if you looked, I'm sure you looked at the history of this one, they actually used to find something to do, again, for Wisconsin, for people doing the inside of the factories. They would race their bikes on the Flat Out on there. They would actually pour the syrup, the soda syrup on the floor so they wouldn't stick.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. The history is awesome. And anybody who wants to check any of this stuff out of the history of the motorcycles and stuff, of course, we live in a great town, so we have the Harley Museum right here.
Yes.
So you can check out a lot of that stuff, a lot of great histories there. And the
Bike Fans Unite.
Bike Fans Unite. You know, what's so cool about Milwaukee and what we have going on is that we're the birthplace of Harley. So there's a lot of history here. So that's why they get attracted a lot of places, and it went over to the Pfizer, and it's just been crazy ever since.
Yeah.
So they've got that going on. A couple of events I really like to see is they've got I guess you call it a themed race. I really don't know what else to call it, but I remember watching it a couple of years ago. I took the girls down there, and what was really fun is they actually had a race, and it was kind of like a Mad Max race.
Okay.
Everybody knows what Mad Max, back in the day. And so the bikes all came out like all the black, and they were wearing mohawks and the
cool.
and they were riding around trying to hit each other and all that stuff, like a little scene of that.
Yeah.
And they had smoke bombs and stuff like that. So the kids were all the little kids were like, "Oh man, look at that!" And they're screaming with their they're swinging these bats in the air and stuff like that. So it's really cool to see. It's really really neat race to see, and they've really come a long way. And I know this thing is. I don't know if I think it's going national or international now. And they started this thing, and they've got a really great following now. It's amazing.
Good. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then how could we not talk about the 60th annual World of Wheels show coming up?
Yeah, we really just got off the phone with Bruce 5 minutes ago. World of Wheels is just, I guess one of the biggest things, and I was talking with Bruce DeChita, the main organizer for Wisconsin area here.
Yes.
There's different organizers there where, Dale puts it on, but the World of Wheels, a lot of people call it WOW, and it's a great history. Even a lot of years, and I think we'll touch base with this when we talk with Bruce. We're talking to him when? On the 20th?
The 20th.
Yeah. And we'll talk to him about before the show, but one thing I really want to touch base and talk to people about is Wisconsin show has been kind of in bash for the last 10 years. I'm seeing it online right now.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. It didn't occur the last 2 years, right? Or is it just last year?
It canceled in 2020. No, it was there last year because we were there last year with Counts Customs.
Okay.
With the Jeeps we gave away with Camp
So
Freedom.
just 2021 it was canceled, right?
2021, that's correct. Yeah, because then we kind of subsidized and helped them guys out and did our showcase, kind of like our spring thaw thing. But I guess what's really hard up here in Wisconsin in the weather is getting your cars out. And getting the show. So of course, Chicago, everybody goes to the Rosemont Center, and that's a huge show which we went down to McCacken for. That's where they also host the Chicago World of Wheels. Okay. Which is 10 times bigger than our show.
Yep.
Back in the day when we were kids, my father used to take me there, and you had such great celebrities. You'd always go see Dukes of Hazzard, the A-Team, and they always got great celebrities. Don't get me wrong, still to this day, because that is basically the O'Reilly's does that stuff, and it's Autorama is the main Autorama World of Wheels. So. But basically in Milwaukee, what happened is there used to be a couple buildings that it used to be 2 or 3 buildings, and you could go there all day long and be a lot of fun. But it really shortened up a lot, and now they've been having a lot of trouble filling up the building. The main building was there, then sometimes it was 3/4 away, and then they'd fill it up with semis. And, of course, social media is either your best friend or your worst enemy.
Right.
So then they were kind of getting slammed for it. And now I was just talking with Bruce Wendorf last night. Our good buddy Bruce was at our shop last night for car night. And everybody was kind of going over the social media saying, boy, I really don't want to go to World of Wheels. It's the same cars, a lot of money for a ticket, all this other stuff, and it's the same cars you see every single year in your show circuit. Well, not to be mean, you guys, but get your cars out that you want to see out there if you're not taking your cars out. And we've seen a lot of these guys out there doing it. So if you've got a great car, great build, get them in there. I talk with Bruce. He's one of my good friend, Bruce the Cheetah that organizes it. So if you didn't get your forms in or any stuff like that, let us know. I mean, I know Bruce firsthand. We can get you guys in there because I mean we want to get this thing filled the way it used to be.
Sure.
And there used to be bands and all that stuff, but funding and everything else, and we couldn't get people to do it. So I know there's still a pinup contest that goes on. I think Saturday nights.
Okay.
Joe Aiko always kind of jumps in on that.
Mm-hmm.
So and there's a lot of good stuff. So so let's try to get the World of Wheels back the way it used to be in Milwaukee. If everybody can kind of help out with that.
And that's coming up February 24th through the 26th at the Wisconsin State Fair Park.
Yep. Yeah, that's coming up real quick. And, of course, then that kind of kicks off the circuit because then it goes to Chicago and Texas and Detroit, of course, which was one of my favorite ones with the Riddler Awards and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's a lot of fun.
Is the Riddler Award only in Detroit?
That is correct. The Riddler Award, which Riddler Award, you can find it up, Google it, whatever you want to do on the old worldwide interweb there. And the Riddler Award is the best of the best in the world. And we went last year. We actually did a bunch of interviews with Austin and went out there, and we actually got to interview the Grade 8, which you get your cars in there, you're all picked out there, and you go for the Riddler Award. And the judging is just, it's amazing just to even watch these guys. They look at everything on these cars, and these are all handmade cars. And the Grade 8 is chosen on Friday night.
Okay.
I believe it was Friday night. I'll have to check in. I don't want to contradict myself here. Misspeak, because everybody likes to say, John, you're wrong.
I like to say, John, you're wrong.
I know. I love it. Everybody's like, I think he knows everything. I'm like, well, I'm looking it up. I forget a lot of stuff, too, so. But the...
Let's put that on the record somewhere that he admitted it.
So, but everybody who's out there, you can put it on there. But it's the Grade 8 is chosen, and that's a great standing because then for the whole day on Saturday, the big flag is out there that you were chosen in the Grade 8 out of all the cars in Autorama. So it's a big privilege to see and that you're chosen.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun. So they get to do that. So World of Wheels, let's definitely kick that up a notch and see what we can do with that.
We'll be there, right?
Oh, yeah, we're going to be there. I think we're just talking, we got a display coming up. We're going to be talking with, we'll give a shout out to your good buddy Andy Klatt and the boys.
Mm-hmm. They're going to be there?
Oh, yeah. Andy Klatt's there every single year with the slot car drags for Children's Hospital, right? That's who they sponsor? Or that's their benefit?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So the slot car drag guys are there. There's a lot of good fun stuff there. They do the Pinstripe Legends contest where they auction things off there.
Yes.
And, of course, I don't have the list yet. I was just asking Bruce for it. But we have to get the list for the celebrities of who's going to be there and whatnot. So, but that's always fun. And
I think I looked the other day and it still said to be determined.
Yeah, they do it to kind of build it up. It's kind of fun what they do. And then, of course, usually Friday nights, Born and Mandy are there, broadcasting live. We always step in with them.
As the years go by, it's turning more into like a big family reunion for us. Like we keep getting more acquainted with people and
it's crazy
building
when you get in
relationships.
there.
And we're like, hey.
Yeah, and we help set everybody up, and we kind of choose who's there. And there's a lot of great shops that are represented there. John from Cool Customs is there, and there's just so many great shops there. I know Michael Beal is going to probably try to get a 55 Chevy done and get represent Top Fuel, and there's somebody there. I know Greg from Greg's Speed Shop was there last year. There's just so many great shops that are around there.
Yeah, looking forward to it. We'll be there. Like we said, for you guys, come out, stop in, and say hi.
Yeah, definitely.
There is a really nice list of winter events around the state laid out in the January issue of the Out and About Wisconsin magazine. It was shared with me by Dave Sarna, the executive director of the Manawa Snodeo. We're going to post it online along with a link. Otherwise, you may visit outandaboutwisconsin.com. We hope to have Dave and Cindy Opitchka, the president of the Merrill Ice Drags, in the studio next week to discuss the Snodeo and the ice drags in detail, and we are looking forward to meeting them both. So definitely check out that list. It's very helpful. We're talking like snowmobile races, the ATV races, the lawnmower races, and they even have sled dog races. I know it's not a motor, but I'm the animal lover, so I thought that was pretty cool that there's like multiple sled dog races advertised on there too. They also have a list of the upcoming car shows and the swap meets in that January edition of Out and About Wisconsin.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we'll talk about on our next show is how to get your stuff with Outdoor Wisconsin and everything that's going on in our calendars itself too.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that we're getting on about it, and it's all network and getting everything on there. But yeah, there's definitely a lot to do in Wisconsin over winter. So check it out, and we've actually been pretty happy. We got a pretty mild winter so far, so it's not like you're freezing.
Yeah, that can be good and bad because with the warm snap, like I worry about the ice now.
Yeah,
because those been like 50s, right?
Yeah, they've got the other stuff because the other guys that I follow around, and we got a lot of guys too. They got the ice races up at Houston's too.
Yeah,
they're up there too. So I know they're checking ice right now too.
So I don't want to wish for more cold, but I kind of want some more cold.
Well, we got to have it to kind of get it going on there. So yeah. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Wow, we're almost out of time already. Look at all that fast.
I know. Time flies when you're having fun.
So again, everybody, we'll kind of do a little round robin here and kind of go back. So again, Merrill Ice Drags coming up, Merrill, Wisconsin, January 1st through January 28th.
Yes.
Gosh, I screwed it up. So look at that. Wow.
Through March 4th.
All right, back off. All right. Merrill Ice Drags, Lake Alexander, Merrill, Wisconsin, from January 28th through March 4th, weather permitting, every Saturday starting at noon.
Yeah.
After that, we got Manawa Snodeo races in the great Manawa Snodeo, the best event in the snow. That's what he claims, right?
Yes.
Bear Lake Resort in Manawa, Wisconsin, February 18th through the 19th, weather permitting again. And we've also got Mama Tried coming up, Eagles Ballroom, and Flat Out Friday. That will be February 17th is Flat Out Friday. February 18th and 19th is going to be the Mama Tried motorcycle show at the Eagles Ballroom. Flat Out, again, is at the Pfizer, correct?
Correct. And
then we got the World of Wheels coming up, 60th Annual World of Wheels at Wisconsin State Fair Park, February 24th through the 26th. So
be there or be square.
Be there. Jess, where can everybody find us out?
You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Rumble. Join us next Sunday at 1:30 on Joy 1340 AM, 98.7 FM. Until then, have a great week.
Okay, I'll be monotone later. Bye.